Where is she?
It's 65 cents a mile.
All right, we're going to bring this meeting back to order.
Okay, welcome to the Queen Anne's County Commissioners meeting. This is a public meeting that is being aired live on our local cable television station, QACTV 7. These media broadcasts provide county citizens an opportunity to watch and review our scheduled public meetings. In addition to our live audience this evening, we are providing remote options for citizens to watch and participate in commissioner meetings. Citizens may watch our meeting live on our website at qac.org/live or on our television channel, BreezeLine Channel 7 and High Definition Channel 507. Citizens may also participate by joining the live Zoom meeting by going to qac.org/public comment, and citizens may also email comments to publiccomment@qac.org. Comments received will be summarized during the press and public comment period on this evening's agenda. We acknowledge everyone's participation, and by attending, you acknowledge that this session is both recorded and aired. Press and public comment will be taken and is limited to 3 minutes per person. If you do care to speak, please sign the sheet on the information table in our lobby. Comments longer than 3 minutes may be submitted in writing for the Commissioner's review. We will now stand and be led in the Pledge of Allegiance by Commission President Jim Moran.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If you can remain standing for a moment of silence for all of our veterans that have served this nation so diligently. Thank you very much.
All right, Commissioners, that brings us to the approval of today's agenda. So our agenda for tonight's meeting, April 25th, along with the regular minutes, the closed session minutes, and the Roads Board minutes from April 11th, along with the budget work session minutes from April 13th, have been circulated for your review. Do we have any additions and/or corrections?
Make a motion to amend tonight's agenda to include 2 additional desk items.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved.
Motion to approve the agenda as amended and all the minutes as submitted.
Second.
We have a motion and a second on this item. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Commissioners. All right, we just had a closed session under the General Provisions Article, Section 3305B1, to discuss boards and commissions, and I believe we have 4 boards and commissions with some appointments I believe we want to make this evening. So first up, we had the Bike and Pedestrian Committee.
I move to appoint Kyle Lee to fill the vacancy on the Bicycle and Pedestrian Advisory Board. This term will expire on February 28th, 2026.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion on this item? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved.
All right, next up, we had the Board of License Commissioners, AKA the Liquor Board.
I move to appoint Lynn Mason to fill the vacancy on the Board of License Commissioners, AKA Liquor Board. This term will expire on June 30th of 2027.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved.
All right, next we have the Ethics Commission.
I move to appoint Robin Lanham from an alternate member to a member with a term expiring December 31st, 2024. I also move to appoint Mark Cascia from a member to an alternate member with a term expiring May 1st, 2028.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Approved? All the above.
All right, thank you, Commissioners. And lastly, we have the Travel and Tourism Advisory Committee.
I move to reappoint Catherine Bonner, Dolores Jones, and Michelle Pringle, and appoint new committee members Mary Jo McCullough, Kelly Phipps, and Ashley Geneva as recommended by the Travel and Tourism Advisory Committee Nominating Subcommittee for a term of 2 years beginning April 1st, 2023 and ending April 30th, 2025.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. There we go.
Thank you, Commissioners. That's all we had for boards and commissions. We can now move into press and public comments. All right, thank you for taking time to express your views to the County Commissioners. Comments are limited to 3 minutes per person. Comments longer than 3 minutes may be submitted in writing. This commission respects your desire and right to convey your message freely. When you come forward, please speak clearly at the standing microphone. State your name, your address, and your topic of interest. And in keeping with the dignity of the office, we ask that all views be expressed in a respectful and civil manner.
Okay, first on the list is Ms. Henrietta.
Hi, my name's Genevieve Henrietta. I live 116 Congressional Drive, and I'm here to talk about plastic-free QAC. So, good afternoon. My name is Genevieve Henrietta, and I've lived in Queen Anne's County all my life, and I'm a junior at Island High School. Since my freshman year, I've been a student leader with the Chesapeake Bay Foundation and a regular volunteer with Island Beach cleanups. I'm also a member of my school's green group and an intern with Plastic Free QAC. As long as I can remember, I've been taught about cleaning up the Chesapeake Bay. As part of our county's curriculum, I've regularly had sections dedicated to learning about the Chesapeake Bay and have gone on numerous field trips to see firsthand about the issues affecting our Chesapeake Bay. And I, like many other students, have come to care deeply about the bay's health. As part of the solution for eliminating plastics from the water, through my volunteer work with Island Beach Cleanup, I regularly found plastic bags, many with local branding, along the shores, wetland areas, and parking lots. I can only imagine how many end up directly in the bay. Last fall, I asked to help Plastic Free QAC with their mission to have businesses stop using single-use plastic bags in the county. I personally reached out to several businesses to gain their support and was surprised and encouraged to find that they were very willing to sign on. I then asked fellow students in my classes if they would support the petition. Every single student I asked readily signed the petition. I'm here today to personally submit these 65 signatures in support of the petition to eliminate single-use plastic bags in our county. I know everyone here wants a vibrant, healthy bay for us to continue and enjoy for generations to come. Please take this small step while making a huge difference. Thank you.
Thank you. Would you like to say your names, and are you affiliated with, go ahead, you want to say your name and.
My name is William Fache.
My name's Caden Ladshaw. I'm not really affiliated with these, but I've done a lot of beach cleanups. I'm an AP environmental student, and this is a huge problem.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate the effort. Okay, next we have Bente Cooney.
I'm Bente Cooney with Plastic Free QAC, and I live at 735 Oyster Cove Drive in Graysonville, Maryland. And I just want to say how proud we are of Genevieve and the students who have signed all these petitions. I just wanted to briefly to mention what segments of Maryland already has passed such a bill. You can call it the bag ban, but we prefer to call it BYOB, bring your own bag, because that really is a more optimistic and more positive, way of saying it. So anyway, Baltimore City passed it back in '21. Baltimore County passed it this year, February, and it'll be effective later this year. Chestertown, of course, did it back in 2012. College Park did it this year, and it's effective in September this year. Easton passed it last year, and it was already implemented this month. Howard County did it in 2020. Laurel in 2022, Montgomery County in 2012, Salisbury passed it in 22, and it's effective in July of 23 this year. Tacoma Park in 2016, and Westminster in 2021. Now, there's action on many levels, many different areas, and Arundel County has had several work sessions and are expected to vote next week. Prince George's County passed out of committee and to the full council. Then we have municipalities, Hyattsville, Greenbelt, they're in drafting process. Laurel has added a minimum of 10 cents charge to their already existing bill, but they wanted to have the 10 cents charge for paper bags because to make it really effective. Frederick City has conducted multiple hearings. Annapolis is under discussion, and Centerville, our very own Centerville, is expected to introduce it in May. Thank you.
A question real quick.
Yes.
Your single source or single-use plastics, can you tell the public what that would cover?
It's a carry-out bags, and it covers when we go to the grocery store and any other store. There are exceptions. Salisbury is a good example, is a good bill, and I believe that's the one that's going to be the basic sample or example here in Centerville. But there are exceptions for like meat and fish and things that absolutely need plastic. I mean, we can't.
So this doesn't, like in the restaurants, plastic cups, plastic straws?
No, this is strictly bags.
Just
Carry-out shopping bags.
Okay.
This time around.
Thank you.
So does a business buy paper bags by 100 or 500 or 1,000?
Yes, they would buy whatever they feel they need,
so how
and
much is
customers would pay 10 cents
So how much is
per
1,000
bag.
bags of paper bags?
I don't know how much it costs, but the idea is that we, as customers, pay 10 cents, and it goes straight to the retailer. No tax, nothing. It's just simply a fee for that paper bag.
4
Because
cents. I buy a lot of bags.
4
cents
per,
about-
per paper bag?
Yeah, give or take, yep.
And what you will find, hopefully, is that people then remember to bring their reusable bags, because once they have to pay for it, then, oh, wait a minute, let me go back in the car and get the bag. Everybody has a ton of these things in their closet or in their trunk. They just forget to bring them in. a lot
I
of
would
the
be
time.
interested, to see if we went back to the choice of paper or plastic. I'd be willing to bet more and more people, because they've had the choice of paper or plastic, would take paper.
Yeah, I'll bet you're right.
I just remember that we used to have paper bags and no plastic bags.
Right.
And then we were killing too many trees,
Right.
so then we went to plastic bags, and look where we're at. So,
Back in the 50s, we had no single-use plastic, and we got along somehow. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
That's all I have. Sign up, willing to speak. Would anybody else like to speak? Seeing none, we'll close the press and public comment. That's from Margie.
All right, Commissioners, we can move into our presentations portion of tonight's agenda. First, we have Delmarva Power and Light Capital Project Update. Mr. Don King is here, and I think he has a presentation for us. That's the presentation. Oh, there's only on the screen. Yeah, come on up here. Yeah, Don, yeah.
I'm old school, so that you don't look anything like the Don King I knew.
Get that a lot of times. Okay.
Promoter.
Yeah.
So good afternoon. We were requested to come here and speak. I assume you guys just want an update on the capital projects in the area and whatnot.
A lot of activity going on in the county, and
Okay.
might as well hear it from those that are doing it.
So I'm Donald King. I'm a senior engineer in the Centerville office. Catherine Shinsky is also here. She's our supervisor of distribution coordination in the Centerville office. You can go to the next slide.
Who's got the clicker?
Should be right here, yeah,
Okay.
right here.
All right, so we got a couple projects in progress. Our 6755 transmission line rebuild from Y Mill substation to Narrows. I'm sure many of you have seen the tall steel poles going up down there in the Graysonville area. Our Narrows substation construction project, which is going on across from the Promenade, Queenstown substation construction project, and I'm going to go over some couple ongoing reliability projects and upcoming reliability projects. All right, so our transmission line rebuild, this is a 12.5-mile rebuild. It's going to go from our narrow substation there in Y Mills, Y Mills substation there. It sits right there on 50. And our targeted energization date is in June of 2023. The purpose of this rebuild is due to the growth on the island and whatnot, and load growth. We needed to upgrade our wire size. So along with the upgraded wire size also comes upgraded poles and whatnot.
So just out of curiosity, could those have gone back onto wooden poles, or is it because the cable's so much heavier?
The cable's heavier,
Okay.
and those wooden poles just don't meet
Right.
current standards. Yes. So, any questions? We have our Queenstown substation construction ongoing. This is on Green Spring Road. This is the current status of it, so you can see our breaker building going up there. This is a reliability project. The purpose of it is to further split our distribution feeders into smaller segments, smaller customer counts in the Queenstown and Graysonville areas. One purpose of this project is it's kind of a backup station where we would back up Stevensville and Graysonville if we had to take those substations out of service. And that's on Green Spring Road, just as you come off 301 there, around the bend there.
So basically, it's for redundancy.
It's a redundancy, yes.
So do you own all of that? Did you buy that whole farm?
We didn't buy the whole farm. We bought I think that's about 10 acres in there that we purchased.
Then it goes back where you're doing the lines behind that property also?
Yes, so we have
The old
we own the,
That's an old railroad track, I think.
if you go around the bend there, there's a lane that goes up between the woods and the field. So we own the woods up to the transmission lines. And we purchased that a number of years ago. Because we'll have to bring our transmission lines into there to feed that substation. Yes. Any other questions? This is our narrow substation, which you can see the progress is somewhat similar. The purpose of this substation is to actually replace our Graysonville substation there, which is kind of sitting in a swamp area and floods a significant amount of time. So we're going to move it onto the other side of the narrows there. And currently there are 3 feeders out of Graysonville. This new substation will have 5 feeders, so that will reduce the customer counts on each feeder and shorten outage duration and outage lengths.
So when this is operational, the Graysonville one will be dismantled?
Graysonville one, I've heard, I'm not in that area, but I've heard it might be just used as a standby. But either way, we won't, there's older structures in there, it floods, it won't be, and there's a lot of customers off it. We won't have to depend upon it as a reliable power source.
So the 2 that you've shown us, is there any mitigation with landscaping or trees, shrubs, you have to do any of that, or is that?
Yes, actually, if you look at there are a significant amount of trees out there at Queenstown. You can see all the new trees planted there on the hill behind the building. And then there's
How about on the Green Spring side?
on the Green Spring side, there's a lot planted on the Green Spring side also. We have a retention pond out there, and there's a lot planted around there. Narrows also, they're not planted yet, but there is it might be 3 or 4 deep. I'll have to look at the site plan.
No, I was just
planted out
curious, I
there.
mean, that's fine.
Yeah.
So because of concerns of flooding in that area, is it up a little bit? It looks like it's up 3 feet, 4 feet.
The building or the grade?
The
The building, our circuits and our circuit breakers, everything in that building will be on the 2nd floor.
okay,
Yes.
because that got water during Isabel.
Yes.
Just letting you know.
Okay. Any other questions?
Roll on.
All right, just a few reliability projects. One that we have ongoing, we're replacing our older vintage cable in Claiborne Landing, down there in the Stevensville area. It's just older cable that needs to be replaced. Then we have another one upcoming in the area. Oyster Cove, that job is, we are proposing to replace that. That is older, 1970s cable, I believe. And we don't have a time frame for that due to shortage of material, transformers.
Are these
cable.
both buried cables?
Buried cables, yes, underground cables, yes.
And when you do that, there's no disruption to the public as far as service?
There would be a short disruption or outage when we cut over from the new equipment to the old equipment, but nothing for an extended period of time. Yes.
Okay.
Those are the two main ones we have going on in the area. We also have our regular new business customers that we're hooking up, Four Seasons, Perry's Retreat, and Fairmount down in Romacoke and whatnot.
So where does I'm curious, where does the power come from to Y Mills?
Most of it, so there is a lot of the power plants down the lower eastern shore have been taken out of service. Most of it is coming, there's a power plant up there just north of the Pennsylvania line, a couple power plants over on the New Jersey side, and then there's a natural gas plant in Wilmington.
So nothing comes across the bay, everything comes?
No, nothing comes across the bay, everything comes down.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what is it, inquiring minds, that 12 and a half miles, what's a project like that cost?
I think that one's in the tens of millions, yes.
All right,
There goes your bill.
yeah, well, hey, I've never, knock on wood, I've never lost power for more than 15 minutes. So,
Well, that's because you have a generator.
no, it's because I live right there next to the transmission lines, so if they go out, everybody's in the dark, so, all right.
Well, we're going to replace those with solar panels.
Yeah.
You'll be fine.
You don't do anything with that, do you?
I'm involved on the technical side, interconnecting them into the grid. Yes.
So if someone puts up a solar farm and they want to go into your grid, do they have to pay to go into your grid?
Yes, they would have to pay all costs associated with connecting into the grid.
But once that's done, once the connection's done, there's no other fees?
I'm not sure about that on our end, yes.
You know roughly what that would cost? I know it depends on length and time and height, but just,
The interconnection,
yeah.
it really varies. I've done them from where it's, for a smaller residential customer where they need to upgrade, it could be a couple thousand to a larger array has been in the millions. So there's a wide range, distance from the substation, whatnot.
Okay. Any other questions, guys? Good? Jack, you're the electric guy here, so. Well, appreciate you coming in
Thank you.
and
Thank you very
explaining that.
much.
You know, the public was wondering what was going on with all these.
Inquiring minds did want to know.
They want to know.
That's
Is this an upgrade and a?
You know, the funny thing is when you guys started bringing in the equipment and laying down, they thought they were going to be widening Route 50 and to accommodate some mass residential projects that were going to be.
or some access road through there or something.
We probably should have had you guys come in before you started the project.
Yeah.
Well, I tell you that those crews they're on it. I mean, especially the guys doing the caissons and the drilling and the,
They're doing a good job. They're running a little ahead of schedule at the
Yeah.
moment, yeah.
nice.
Actually had an opportunity to meet a couple of them at a local restaurant. Great guys.
Absolutely.
Access road.
Great guys.
They've used the bike path before,
That's
we use
right.
that as an access road, so no trail.
Well, thank you very much for
Thank
coming
you,
in.
appreciate it. Appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you. Presentation.
Thank you.
That's pretty cool.
All right, Commissioners, we are just right about on schedule here. So next we have a public hearing on County Ordinance 2303. And this is the bill for the 10-year redistricting plan for Queen Anne's County for the county commissioners' voting districts. So we have Patrick Thompson here to chair the hearing. And I'll also mention we have several members, including the co-chairs of our committee, the redistricting committee here in the audience as well. So thank you all for coming. Mr. Thompson?
Ready?
Yes,
This is
sir.
a hearing being held by the County Commissioners of Queen Anne's County, April 25th, 2023, at 5:50 PM in the County Commissioners Meeting Room, Liberty Building, 107 North Liberty Street, Centerville, Maryland, to receive public comments regarding the proposed county ordinance number 23-03, a bill entitled "An Act Concerning the Decennial Redistricting Plan for Queen Anne's County for the purpose of establishing the geographic limits of the 4 county commissioner districts of Queen Anne's County based on the 2020 United States Senate Census. All persons who wish to comment on the proposed ordinance may do so at the hearing. Speakers will be limited to 3 minutes each. Written testimony of any length may be submitted on before the hearing date to the county commissioners. Copies of the proposed ordinance have been available in its entirety at the county commissioner's office, 107 North Liberty Street, Central Maryland, during normal business hours. All hearing sites are accessible with disabilities. Sign language interpreters and assistive listening systems are available. Part of the record of proceeding will be a certificate of publication indicating that notice of tonight's hearing was published for 2 successive weeks in the Bay-Times, Record Observer. Both newspapers of general circulation in Queen Anne's County. And also the report from the Queen Anne's County Redistricting Committee, which had been previously submitted to the county commissioners. Gene, do you?
If we sign up, no problems. I think it's the 2 co-chairs, right?
You're on top.
Is that okay? Do you mind, Patrick, if we do it together? So we were the co-chairs of the redistricting committee. For those of you who don't know, I'm a Democrat, and she's a Republican. And we worked together in a bipartisan fashion and submitted a report, which we presented in detail to you. And Mr. Thompson's already submitted it. So I just want to say, first of all, thank you to the 5 of you for the service you provide. Being county commissioner is hard. It's very difficult, and I don't think a lot of folks understand it. So thank you for that. And I wanted to especially compliment Margie, Todd, and Beth. And Beth, who really staffed the committee, is like amazing. You guys got a real gem there. But all of them are terrific. You got a really good staff, and they were very helpful throughout the process. Just one other thing, when we went through it, we were very cognizant of some of the key issues that really needed to be looked at. We looked carefully at things like disparities, demographics, making sure that everything was equally and fairly spread across. And I think we felt very comfortable that not only keeping it the same made sense from a strategic, logical point of view, it actually is more fair than it was 10 years ago when it was done. There is one technical piece of legislation that the other Mr. Thompson lawyer is working on with the election commission that will come forward to allow in 10 years someone to fix any problems that might arise that we wouldn't be able to fix. So you'll see that in the future. But obviously, I personally, and I think the committee strongly supports this action tonight to keep the lines the same and move forward. Ditto. Oh. The group worked really well together, and you did a good job appointing us, I think.
Appreciate it.
Okay, good job to all of you.
Yep.
And Mr. Legg and Mr. Arnst were also on the committee as well as volunteers, and they didn't sign up, but I don't know if they want to say anything. Okay.
You said it all.
All right.
Thank you.
Very good. Thank you for all your hard work.
Let's just vote on it.
Does anyone else signed up? Is there any public comment with respect to ordinance 2303?
Make a motion to adopt County Ordinance 2303.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? We'll close the comment period
Thank you
also.
to the committee.
Yeah, I want to thank the committee also. So, very good. All right, seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved.
Good for another 10 years.
Yep.
Actually, about 5 years. You got to start back up.
Thank you, Patrick.
Thanks, welcome.
All right.
All
Moving
right,
on.
Commissioners, we have a second public hearing. This is for the Community Development Block Grant hearing for the Sudlersville and Foxtown Senior Center roof replacement projects. We're a couple of minutes ahead of schedule. It's supposed to start at 6 o'clock, but I don't,
There's no one signed up, I don't think, so.
Right,
nobody signed up.
yeah.
Go ahead, by the
Anybody
time you
sign up?
finish your thing.
Yeah,
it'll
we
be
can,
Although I
this is
did
kind of a
short-
repeat. We already had this hearing once. We
Right.
got some additional grant money coming in, so we have to go through this exercise one more time.
Exactly, so thank you for that, but we were able to get a little extra money, which allows us to cover not only the senior center up in Sudlersville, but now the entire Foxtown apartment complex, so hopefully this will be enough. And I spoke with the folks, and I begged the folks in the state, I said, do I have to have another hearing to get this section? They said yes, so thank you. But I also said, is there any way I can shorten it? And we shortened it a little bit, so we've shortened it. So I'll go ahead and get started if that's okay with you.
Absolutely.
All right, the purposes, public hearing is to update the community on the amendment to our original application for the Community Development Block Grant awarded through the Maryland Department of Housing and Community Development Special Programs. The amendment to our original $450,000 grant award now includes an additional $200,000, bringing the total grant award to $650,000. The purpose of the amendment is to ensure that the Sudlersville Senior Center, along with the newly added Foxtown Senior Apartments, have safe and maintained facilities. We value your input and welcome citizens to provide their views on the amendment, as well as any other community economic development and housing needs that should be considered. A notice of public hearing was placed with the Sunday Star Democrat prior to April 19th, 2023, announcing that the public hearing was set for Tuesday, April 25th, 2023 at 6 p.m. and public comment accepted that meeting held at the Liberty Building at 107 North Liberty Street, Centerville, Maryland. The public hearing will summarize the amendment and additional funds for the following projects: Queen Anne's County Sudlersville Senior Center and Foxtown Senior Apartments roof replacement, $650,000. Overview of the project: Queen Anne's County Sudlersville Senior Center and Foxtown Senior Center Apartments roof replacement. Queen Anne's County Division of Housing and Community Services within the Department of Community Services plans to submit an application for funding to replace the roofs of the Sudlersville Senior Center and Foxtown Senior Apartments. The purpose of this project is to replace the current roof of the Sudlersville Senior Center and Foxtown Senior Apartments, which regularly experience water leakage due to damage or faulty areas of the roof. This replacement roof project will provide a permanent fix and mitigate any further leakage from the building's roofs. The project will ensure the safety of facility attendees and will allow the Area Agency on Aging to continue running scheduled events and operations as usual. Public comments. We've now reached the public comment section of the public hearing. The hearing requires testimony to be heard from members of the community for projects. Comments will be limited to 3 minutes each.
And Mark, you had nobody sign up? Nobody sign up? Would anybody like to speak? Seeing none, we'll close your little comment section. And the next one we do is the motion.
Yes, please.
I make a motion to approve the Queen Anne's County Department of Community Services grant amendment to the Maryland Department of Housing and Community Development special project through the Community Development Block Grant Program for the Sudlersville Senior Center and Foxtown Senior Apartments roof replacement project at $650,000.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion on this? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. 5-0.
Mr.
Thank you,
Director,
Mike.
are you thinking it'll go out for bid summertime?
Yes, I think it'll, I forgot to mention, the engineers have been great, but they have mentioned that they hope to put out the bid soon, and then they're gonna open it up to we have till next July to get it done. And they've suggested that if we give some more time in their response, it might bring some of the prices down on bids if they have more time to offer when they're gonna do the actual bid.
So they could bid up to $650,000, but it could be less.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Director.
Very good. You want to go on to some new business? Or
I believe I saw Mr. Bariano in the hallway. Is he out there?
You did. He is here.
Okay, we can just continue with the presentation.
Okay.
He's up
Sure.
next. So
Sure.
Mike?
our next presenter is
Send Bruce in.
Queen Anne's County lobbyist, Mr. Bruce Bariano. And we have in your book.
Oh, that's Patrick.
Oh, that's Patrick.
No.
Oh, that's Patrick. Mr. Bruce. I thought I saw.
You saw Patrick.
I saw Patrick.
Oh, someone said they saw.
His car was down there.
Okay. All right. Well, we can pause on that one until Mr. Bariano arrives. We can. Excuse me. Okay.
He could be asleep in his car.
We can continue with action items if you want, Commissioners.
That's
So new business, we have 10 action items and 2 desk items. If you want to turn to tab number 3, we can start with those. First one is the old Centerville High School building envelope repair project. This is a repeat item from last meeting. So we did receive bids for the old Board of Education Administration building, Centerville High School, to replace all the windows. Bids ranged from about just under $1 million to 1.6. There were concerns about the cost of that, and so our Department of Public Works staff went back and looked at some alternatives. One being, they recommend utilizing the state grant along with a one-to-one match with local funds for a total project investment of $500,000 to replace 7 of the uniquely large individual original windows in the stairwells, and then make repairs to the slate roof, focusing on the trouble areas, including eaves, hips, valleys, and the cupola. So that's the revised scope of work, and they would choose to, bid that out with specialized craftsmen, like we're doing with the historic courthouse. So if that's acceptable, we would like a motion to reject all of the bids for the complete window replacement. It was 150 windows, and then give the Department of Public Works authorization to move forward with this revised scope.
I move to reject all bids, cancel the Old Centerville High School window replacement project, and authorize the Director of Public Works to execute on behalf of the County Commissioners contracts with craftsmen for historic window restoration and slate roof repair, the combined total of which may be up to $500,000.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Still not warm and fuzzy.
Not even close.
Yeah, not even close, but it pains me.
This gives us an opportunity to at least preserve the interior space, fix the roof, the windows, until we can come up with a
Understood.
suitable use
Yeah,
for
understood.
the facility.
Any other discussion?
I just think our original discussion a few weeks back on this was what the uncertainty of the future of the building and why the expense to the tune of anywhere from $1 million to $1.5 million, when we don't know exactly what's going to happen. So,
It's use it or lose it, right? The 250?
Yeah, correct, yeah. So it's really $250 taxpayers' money. But, okay. Any other discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstained? 5-0. Thank you. There you go.
5-0?
No,
He was calling for.
Oh, excuse me, I'm
it's
sorry.
called no abstain.
No.
He's both abstaining and in favor.
Just say all in favor.
All right. Do you want to move into the presentations now? Or?
Hold it, I'll fave.
Yes, right.
Okay, turning back to tab 6, we have our next presenter, Queen Anne's County lobbyist, Mr. Bruce Bariano, for an update on the legislative session. Mr. Bariano?
Afternoon, Bruce, how are you?
Good evening. I brought my lawyer with me. Pleasure to be here.
Imagine during session, there was a lot of them.
I know,
hanging around.
there were.
Oh, that's it, right there. That's it.
It's a pleasure to be here. And again, I want to thank you for the privilege and the opportunity to represent Queen Anne's County this past legislative session, and appreciate it very much. Please ask me any questions that you want. I sent you some materials. Before I go into that, and I know you have other agenda items, so I will be brief. It was a very unusual session. They're all very different, but this one was particularly different. I felt it was an unsettled session. A lot of new office holders, not only in the legislature, but some legislators were going from the House to the Senate during the course of the session. So the committee assignments were changed. There were a lot of new statewide office holders that were settling in and getting acclimated to Annapolis. It all happened pretty quickly. So it was a session that did not, in my opinion, I'm not being critical, just did not have a real rhythm or settling aspect to them. It's a productive session. If I can go over a couple of items that were on the final tracking list for you, the alcoholic beverage residency bill, passed and will be signed by the governor. I know you are aware of that. The one very good thing, which I'll admit candidly surprised me, was House Bill 447, which was by Delegate Crosby from St. Mary's County. That would have impacted Queen Anne's County by changing dramatically the redistricting a pattern and process in this county as well as some other counties, was introduced in the House, not in the Senate, had a hearing, and just sat there all session and died with the end of the session. Both Senator Hershey and I watched it very, very carefully. It just sat there and I didn't ask any questions. I just, but that's very good news for Queen Anne's County. And I know we were concerned about it. We had discussed it previously. I wanted to point that out to you. Another bill that passed by the Speaker, House Bill 551 and Senate Bill 547, deals with the Office of Statewide Broadband and doing a study on further initiatives and activity in the broadband expansion area, which I know is particularly important to Queen Anne's County and to the Eastern Shore. House Bill 692 and Senate Bill 489 was enrolled and was passed by the legislature, dealing with local government's ability on solar energy and solar developments. And I worked very closely with MACO on that legislation, and I was trying to avoid it getting passed, but the way it worked out with all the parties that were involved, it was enacted, but it does preserve the necessity of local government approving permits and the Public Service Commission not just overriding and controlling that matter. I don't think it's good precedent. It concerns me. Just generally,
It'll probably be back next year in some other form.
yeah, I think
They're gonna
they
keep
will
pecking
be.
away at it,
Yeah,
so.
Please, I'm not being critical of MACO. I really am not. I just would have taken a much stronger position because I just don't believe in the camel's nose under the tent. And we're talking about basic local powers that counties have, and setbacks and vegetation and the things that you all are very, very familiar with in that regard. On that point, Senate Bill 469 was passed, setting up a task force to study solar incentives. That was passed and enrolled. I think that it should be watched and see what that study does and comes back with. Also,
What happened with the, didn't they have one in for EV as well, for the electrical vehicle? Did that one? make
I
it
do
through?
not recall that, no. I can check into
I
that.
thought there was one that was kind of, was in
I'll
the same
check
vein.
into that.
Yeah, I didn't hear anything, so I think it died, but just, it'll be back.
Senate Bill 24, which I sent out this morning, I apologize I didn't get it to you sooner. I can send it out again. That did pass and has not been signed yet by the governor, but I bring to your attention on the latter part of the bill, starting on page 8, for those of you that did receive it, I had my office email it this morning. It is setting up a commission, they have dubbed it TRAIN, the Maryland Commission on Transportation Revenue and Infrastructure Needs. And I think it's something that should be watched. It is something that's going to cover bridges and roads and further infrastructure. It is set forth here, a membership on there, so you might either through MACO or otherwise want some representation on there. It looks like it is going to be fairly balanced in terms of the appointment of members on there, but it is an entity that's going to come back that I think will have some stature with what recommendations and things they say. So, I mean, I've noted to follow it and watch it closely once it's formed, but I think through MACO, I would, I mean, it does allow for a MACO representative, but I think there could be more than just a MACO representative on there. So I wanted to.
So would that be worth coming to the summer MACO meeting and talking to them about that?
Oh, definitely. Yeah,
Are you
summer
going to do
MACO
that?
meeting. Well, I come to all the I always come respectfully. I've been coming to MML and MACO for a good 35, 40 years at least, and I'm there the entire time, and I very much so. But even beforehand, I will let you know when this is signed by the governor. It has not been signed yet. There's still 2 more bill signing ceremonies coming up. But
This is just a task force, Patrick. It's not Mako's only gonna have a representative. That's what I was saying. I think Jim, there's 2 rural spots on there. I think Jim should definitely apply for one of
Yeah,
those.
I just think it's something that not only affects the bridge, which I know is a major concern to Queen Anne's County.
Funding.
But even other infrastructure needs.
Well, just the
And-
funding portion
Yeah,
of
the
it.
funding, they're gonna look at the whole ball of wax, and I think it's something that, not only Mako, but you all individually should be, and I'll help you follow it and,
I mean, this
keep
is-
in communication with you on it.
This is all to answer the question of what happens when the gas tax goes away, basically. When
Well,
we got all electric
possibly.
cars, what are
Possibly.
you gonna do, right? Because all our money
Yeah.
comes from there now, that
Yeah.
and titles and registrations.
And while there's no language in here, but highway user funds should be part of the discussion in this commission.
Well, that's what I'm saying, that's the source.
Right,
What they're
right.
describing in there is your source of your HUR, so how that,
You're
whatever
absolutely
they
right.
come back with is
Yeah.
gonna be critical to the counties.
Or what else is gonna be used in place of it,
Right.
or, exactly. So I think that is a very important document. And then lastly, been working very actively, with your able, Mr. Moan, on the property. As you know, the Board of Public Works, did, pass, unanimously, authorizing you all to have the property, the only interested party, so you will get the property. I know there's been a lot of back and forth. I know you're in the midst of doing the appraisal, which is, is necessary. But I've been talking with Dr. Charles Glass, who is the head of MES, and he and I have a very close relationship. He has explained to me, and I say this, very sincerely, he's explained to me that the system is not going to be taken away from that property and sent down to Cheltenham. The Department of Budget and Management will only pay for that if it's an entirely new system. So the realities is a system that is in place at the property here in Queen Anne's County will remain there. The membranes, which are in storage, will be taken out and put back to make the whole thing whole. And I mean, the reality of it all is that they're not going to put they're not taking it away to put down in Cheltenham, because the funding on that, DPM will not authorize the payment on that. So it's a cost matter, which I found out, and I was very glad. It will stay there, and the membranes will have to come back. The estimate that I am getting, and I've seen the emails, I know there's numbers rolling around, but the estimate I'm getting is that the expense of that to the county could be maybe up to $250,000 tops. I'm going to stay on.
That's a bargain. Yeah.
Yeah,
no.
and as you know, the action of the Board of Public Works, there's no payment for the property. I mean, you saw the paperwork. If you all don't want it, I'll take the deal, but no, but seriously.
It's good just for the kitchen appliances, isn't it?
I just want the trays,
All them trays over there, yeah.
The tray, those trays,
I agree.
they'd be good on eBay, they really would. But, so it'll make it quicker, it'll make it easier. There will not have to be a whole new construction. The membranes are never been used, they're in storage. And I'm told by Dr. Glass they can easily be brought back and put there. So I think the cost will be very reasonable and minimal in the context of everything. So I'm staying on top of that. It's moving along. We're just going through the appraisals, which is required by law and procedure, and it should be finalized in the next couple of months.
Awesome.
Bruce, whatever happened with the Lower Shores hotel tax that they wanted?
That regretfully, I was going to bring that up, that
Okay.
regretfully did not pass. And I know, and I thank you on behalf of my other client, Ocean City, for your cooperation in that regard. Long story short, and frankly, it was just part of the characteristics of the session, the bill came to the floor, the Senate floor, and a senator from Montgomery County made a whole big brouhaha about, taxing people from Montgomery County and increasing their taxes because they're going to Ocean City and all this stuff, even though Montgomery County has a larger room tax a higher room tax.
I was just saying Montgomery County got a problem with taxation.
Well, that's okay. We're just gonna have to check Montgomery County at the bridge, and they're gonna pay a little bit more for the bridge now, that's
He
all.
was just upset
I will
because he
say
didn't
this,
think about it.
Mayor Mahan of Ocean City has spoken with the Senate President, and legislation will be reintroduced next year, and I think it will be satisfactory and successful. It came at a time, and just the whole environment, and it came in late and what have you. But if you don't mind my saying, I know Mayor Meehan is very appreciative of your and the other counties' cooperation in that regard. And as we all know, and I'm not saying this in a flip way, it's just enabling. You still have to have a whole process of public hearings and the public and everybody as to whether you're going to do something or not. So,
Yeah,
you know,
surprising, because it was enabling that it didn't pass. 'Cause
Excuse me?
I said surprising that it was just enabling that it didn't pass. That just
Well,
seems.
and the other very upsetting thing, which I've seen more and more, and it really is very upsetting to me as just someone that's been involved in the legislative process, is the local legislation prerogatives are not being recognized or respected like they have been in the past. I mean, if it's a local bill and really has no statewide application, it is passed. Here you had 4 local code counties, and it was ignored. And not on the House side. The House side, you had Democrats and Republicans voting for it. It had bipartisan support, but got stalled in the Senate in that regard. And but that's why they have other legislative sessions. We'll get it done. We really will. And appreciate that very much. Any questions I can answer on any other subjects or anything to follow up?
And the Sunday hunting, it never got out of the drawer either, correct?
That's correct. Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
Can you tell us, the Secretary of Education introduced a bill, well, he didn't, but essentially taking away authority from the school boards to try to make it statewide for kind of dictating to the school boards on what the policy would be via the state. What are your thoughts on that? It didn't, I don't think it passed.
It did not. It did not.
But you know they're going to bring it up next year.
I will.
I mean,
I will make sure.
all of the superintendents and the school boards were against this on the Eastern Shore that I know. You're shaking your head, so you know what I'm talking about. Do you want to share anything?
I'll make sure. I'll make sure that
It's a big deal.
I cover that very
It's a
carefully
big
next session.
So, but mandate, in
It's
other words,
essentially-
mandating the day-to-day operations?
Not quite, but dictating to the local school boards, you know,
Curriculum, it's programming, curriculum.
Oh, okay.
Thanks for bringing that to my
yeah,
attention.
curriculum that we don't,
Yeah.
you know.
I'll make sure of that.
Control needs to be in the local school boards, local county commissioners, not a bureaucrat in the state government.
I'm just asking, did Mako take a position or get involved in that?
They were, I don't know.
I'll follow up on that.
No, because
It would be.
it wouldn't
something
be, yeah, it wouldn't have
'Cause it's-
anything to
it's a
do with our
board, not a
autonomy,
county
that's
issue.
with the board. So that typically when it gets into that where it's MSDE or MABE or any of those are getting involved, MACO won't jump into the fray, just like when the sheriff's associations and law enforcement get involved, they have their own groups.
Stay out of those subject areas.
Yeah, because it's,
Okay.
you're not gonna add
Not their
anything to the
wheelhouse.
conversation at that point. You have the
But
experts.
the counties individually, such as you can get into it.
But MABE and all, I mean, all the boards and all that did weigh in, they weighed in on it, so, I
Okay.
mean.
So we were in they'd have the Eastern Shore delegation meetings, and everybody was against it.
Yeah, yeah.
Second question. Thank you for working with the Kent County Commissioners Lobbyist Team.
Oh, thank you.
I appreciate you doing that, or they appreciate you doing that, so 2 is better than 1.
Yeah.
I know you fly solo, you know.
No, but
get it.
I'd
get
really
it.
like to collaborate.
Yeah.
I believe very strongly in it.
And one of the things that we're really need to work on together is not just our 2 counties, but the surrounding 5 counties about the Whitsitt Center. So we appreciate your support.
I will continue to do
And
that.
I know County Administrator talked to you about that.
Yeah, Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Happy to do that.
Last question. Today, the governor signed a bill on the election about texting in changes on a ballot. Are you familiar with that?
The bill signing was yesterday. There were a number of election bills.
Yeah.
I am not. I will.
Could you look into
Honestly,
that?
yes, I will. The bill signing was yesterday, and I will, and I have the bill list back in my office. I will do that. I will get you a copy of it, and
Essentially,
I will look at it.
the way I understand, it's kind of hard to believe that if you mail in for a mail-in ballot,
And then make a mistake or change your mind or something like that.
the
could-
person
that's-
can text in their
that's-
change, meaning on their phone. So you don't know whose phone it is.
There has to be some, yeah, it's got to be.
You know,
certain,
it could be
you know.
it could be your uncle, it could be your aunt, it could be your spouse changing your vote, changing your address via text. It makes zero sense.
Well, maybe though, as a lobbyist, I can get do-overs at the legislature. I mean, just taking that premise, you know, I could say, well, if you can text a change of how you voted, well, maybe we can, you know, no, but it's, there needs to be certainty and finality.
We could do 6-month early voting too. I mean, that would be.
There were quite a number of, I'm not being facetious or anything, quite a number of very peculiar and unusual bills that were passed. One bill that was passed, which has not been signed yet by the governor, is you cannot use the word, throughout the Maryland Code, you cannot use the word inmate anymore. It's incarcerated individual. The feeling that the term inmate is inappropriate.
Inmate sounds more pleasant to me, you know? Someone's your mate, you know, there's just your inmate, I don't know, sounds better to me. Guess things are changing.
Any other questions?
Any other questions?
But thank you very much.
Bruce, thank you.
I will be at Mako. Please do let me know. I mean, I'll be in touch. I speak to Todd regularly, but if you're going to have a transportation meeting at Mako like we did last time.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
And, you know, I know Secretary Wiedefeld quite well. I've known him for a long period of time, so anything I can do in that regard. And I think it's good that Samantha Biddle, who was with Jim Porch, you know her, has stayed on, and she's a deputy secretary of the department. She's not chief of staff. They've done some, you know, internal reorganization. And then lastly, to the best of my knowledge at the present time, I'm not guaranteeing this, but, you know, I try and find out for myself and to let my clients know. I believe the modal heads are, they're still, not only are they there, but I think things are going well.
Good.
Which I think is, you know, I know is something of interest to all of you, really. So, thank you very much, and thank you for the year ahead. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Have a good evening.
Thank you.
I'll follow up on it.
No.
Appreciate it.
Bruce, you didn't mention TAWS?
Well,
Come on.
I didn't mention it because I know you're going to be there.
It's on my calendar.
No, it's the 27th of September, and Governor Moore has already told me that he and the Lieutenant Governor will be there. In addition, former Governor Hogan and Boyd Rutherford will be there as well.
Nice.
I had lunch with the former governor about a week or so ago, and as we sat down at the Double T, as we're sitting down, he says, "I'm going to be at TAWS, Bruce. Don't worry, I'm going to be there." So he loves it. He's very excited. I think he'll be very honored and great for him to be there. I did say, Governor Hogan, I am going to have a campus sign up, welcoming back you and Lieutenant Governor Rutherford, you know. But please understand, it will be below the larger sign welcoming Governor Westmore. And he said, I fully understand. But it's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to have a very large crowd.
And above that, we'll say, welcome Commissioner Moran.
We don't need
working on that?
Bruce, we don't need a banner.
No,
I just needed the big crabs, that's all.
we're renaming the crab feast. It's going to be the Moran Crab Feast.
I got a water line here in Queen Anne's County too, so, you know, it goes
But seriously,
well with it.
whatever your needs are, I will, you know, parking and tables and what have you. It's great networking.
Yeah.
It really is. And I thank you all for doing that. Take care, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Very good,
Good
thank
to
you,
see
Bruce.
you all.
All righty,
I want to leave with my lawyer, okay?
there you go.
Okay, Commissioners, we can return to the new business portion of the agenda. So we can go back to tab number 3. And we've covered action item 1. We have action item number 2. And that is the Fire and EMS Commission LoSAP point systems and bylaw update. So that's on tab 3, page.
I move to approve the Queen Anne's County Fire and EMS Commission's bylaws and point system for active status.
Second. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
We don't have anything. We were here in case you had something. So for our TV audience, you just give the elevator version of exactly what LoSAP program is and what it means to our volunteers. Elevator version.
Okay.
45
LoSAP
seconds.
It's a retirement program that the Commissioners of Queen Anne's County set up for us a few years ago. And it's part of our recruitment and retention setup. Thanks to the commissioners and all the work that you all have done, we not only do we have the LoSAP program, which is a retirement benefit for those once you hit the age of 55, depending on the amount of years you have in, you get a stipend every month. And then there's also the property tax credit that for any volunteer after you become an active member for 3 years, it's up to $2,500 off your property taxes. And then we also have, again, you guys did it all, we just asked for it. But we also have life insurance on all of our members, active members, and all of our life members. So once you become a 20-year life member in Queen Anne's County, you have life insurance on it. We have one company in our county that gets its benefits from 3 different counties, which is Queen Anne, Hillsborough. And we had a line of duty death in Queen Anne, Hillsborough, one of their assistant chiefs, who also was a thing. And Commissioner Jack Wilson found out then that because it was a third, that only a third of their members had life insurance. So he brought it back to you guys, and we made it possible. So everyone in that company has life insurance through us. Now, they don't have LoSAP. They have LoSAP depending on where they live, whether it's Talbot, Carolina, or Queen Anne. But the life insurance, again, that's another feather in his cap that he come to me and said, that's not right, and we need to fix it. And we got the prices, and you all fixed it. So thank you. It was brought to his attention to me, and you all agreed to do it, which made it real easy for us to do. So,
it's easy. I find myself constantly reminding our citizens of Queen Anne's County when we get into situations where we're dealing with our volunteer fire services. And again, I'll say that if we had to go to a paid service, it would be a huge burden on our property owners as far as property taxes to pay for a paid volunteer service. And the fortunate thing for us is we have a lot of volunteers over here that live here that actually are career and paid firefighters in other jurisdictions. So we're not only are we blessed to have experienced firefighters, but ones that are willing to serve even when they get home. So we are very fortunate, and we can't thank you enough for the efforts that you guys go through to get that, not only the retention, and come up with these great ideas for recruitment as well. So.
And it's paying dividends. When I sat in on an actuarial meeting last year, when they came in, they said Queen Anne's County nationwide is one of the top counties in recruitment and retention since we've instituted some of these policies on the actuarial side.
Volunteers?
Over 100. Yeah, we put in over 100 new volunteers.
Sweet.
And
Right.
the beauty of it is a lot of them are under 28-ish years old. People new coming from the Western Shore have moved here, are signing up to be volunteers. So it's working. And we were getting thin there, so.
Yeah.
I'd like to see some more kids signing up for our MIFRE training classes, I know the numbers have declined a little bit. Maybe when it
But
comes
our
to
student
recruitment.
populations have declined. That's, you think about it, if you take it as a percentage, it's not that
Our
bad.
biggest problem is if we don't, there are some stations that have them starting at 12 or 13 and 14 years old, which they're in middle school. And I found a lot of times if you don't get them when they're in middle school,
Right.
by the time they get to high school, when they're ready to go, they're playing sports, they're in after-school activities.
Right.
And nothing against all that, but they can't put
The priorities
time in.
change a little bit.
Yeah, and they can't put the time in.
They
for
can't
the
put the
other.
time
So So we go, in Sularsville, we go to the middle school and talk to the 7th and 8th graders and try to get them to come join the, but there's a group that we haven't attached to yet, and I'm working on how to do that. And that's the Hispanic community. Because up in our way, we have a lot of Hispanic community, and when there's things to be done, like when we were working on the laundromat, we were doing it to help the school out. Well, the school principal and all sent out a thing to the teacher, to the parents. And the first day we went to go to school, we did it like an hour and a half, because I had like 30 of the Hispanic moms and dads show up, and just, it was done. I mean, it was just that quick. And I'm working with a gentleman now to try to learn where to go to talk and get the right message out to them, to let them know that they can join and be a part of the family as well. But it's still a work in progress, but.
It's a good idea, though.
Very good.
How many kids do we have in the career and technology, fire EMS?
What did he say last meeting, 10?
Less than a dozen.
Yeah, less than a
Less than
dozen.
a dozen, yeah. But again,
That's
you know, we're down 5% in the schools, so if we're down 5% over there, it kind of makes sense. It's a balance, I think. I mean, yeah, you want to see more, but.
It can be a tough program, too.
Yeah.
It got changed.
Academical can be tough.
Yes, it got changed because the first few classes had to have EMT, and now they've changed it to EMR.
To make it easier.
Make it easier for them to get.
And I did notice one of the big changes throughout is where you got rid of ambulance and just substituted EMS in to
Right.
kind of make it more
Yes.
holistic to what's nowadays instead of, you know,
Yes.
people don't even say ambulance anymore, do they? Unless it's an old show on TV, that's about it. Looking at you, Phil.
I got you back, I say it too. And I get corrected.
Yeah.
We have a motion
so-
and a second.
We have a motion and a second.
Yep.
We are voting to approve the Queen Anne's County Fire and EMS Commission's bylaws and point systems for active status. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? So moved.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for your service.
Thank you.
Well, everybody now.
Mr. Mayor, Mr. Faust, thank you very much.
And this next one on the agenda is going to
See you
make Heather
guys.
happy, I know that.
I thought we were tabling that.
Yeah, are we tabling? Were we tabling that because she's out of town or
I tell
something?
you, if looks could kill, you'd be dead right now. Table this one.
Who's making the motion?
I will. I move to approve and sign the closeout agreement as presented for the Community Development Block Grant Number MD11ED70 regarding Mattapique Industrial Park.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Is this the one that we've been trying
This
to?
is the one.
This is,
This is the one Heather
It has
has to
its own
send
life
in,
and-
and we have to vote on every 6 months, and yeah.
This goes back to 2011, but we
Yeah.
did create 77 total new jobs. We
Yeah.
don't have to pay any money back, so we're all good. So I want to thank
all
Heather
good.
and Mike Clark back here too, because they worked hard with housing to get this
And-
done.
And if I could bring this up, if Nicole can check on, it, I believe that now frees up $896,000 in escrow. That was held in escrow because of,
She's not nodding one way or the other.
she needs to check on that.
Yeah, we set it aside in case we had to pay it back.
Right, but I think it went somewhere separate, so I may have an idea on what we could do with that now, since Heather has been diligently working on it, so.
Oh, wait a minute. You already have a use for that? Yeah, shocker.
But yeah, I
She
know it's in
never
there,
gives money
'cause
back.
We had to hold it back for if we didn't meet the jobs requirement, so
Okay.
let's do it.
Well, with that being said, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed?
Are we gonna have a contract burning sometime in the
moved.
near future?
Gotta sign
Burn
that
that
thing
thing?
first.
For sure.
Right, well, the next one's her too.
Yeah, the next is application to the Maryland Alcohol Manufacturing Fund. This is a grant application for $236,000. We may not get that much, but can we get a motion on that? And we can
I move to
talk
approve
about
the Queen Anne's County Economic and Tourism Development's application in the amount of $236,625 to the Maryland Alcohol Manufacturing Promotion Fund on behalf of the Queen Anne's County Brewers Coalition.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please.
This is a brand-new fund. It's called the Maryland, they call it MAPE for short. It was established by Governor Moore's office, And we're hoping to use this fund to support our Brewers Coalition. So we have Patriot Acres, Caulk Classic, Tin Ike, I'm quizzing myself, Bull and Goat, and then Big Truck, which is our newest one, and they're all work together. They did the Brews with Benefits. And we're looking to help them establish their branding and marketing to work together to bring people over here, and you go visit all of them over time. And then if this is successful, we're then hoping to kind of take what we learn and reach out to our 2 wineries. We have Love Point and Cassia Vineyards.
Assure
and then
them,
our distillery.
assure them whenever I'm out and about, I am bragging about our IPAs that come out of our county.
Yeah, it is a big draw. And I was just at MEDA, Maryland Economic Development Association, and this was a super hot topic. We don't envision getting the 236, but they advocated that we present our whole plan, and we'll probably get pieces and phases if we're lucky enough, because everybody's going after this to help support their breweries and create new ones, and distilleries and wineries too.
Awesome. All right, well, we have a motion and a second on this item. Any other discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstained? So moved.
Could you get with Gigi about, there were some questions this morning at the Kent Narrative Development Foundation as far as plans for moving the tourism office and where that's going? There just seemed to be some uncertainty there.
I've held off on anything with that until the budget was approved.
We have money in the
because we
budget,
put that in our
remember?
budget, so I didn't want
To do that.
Yeah, but just, what we're going to do. Okay.
We gotta approve the budget.
All right.
All right, thank you, Heather.
Remember, that's the,
Thank you.
what you call it?
All right, Commissioners, our next item is item number 5 on pages 29 through 34, and this is our annual housing bond allocation transfer for 2023, and this allows the State Department of Housing and Community Development to utilize our housing allocation bond money to use that for housing projects throughout Queen Anne's County and other jurisdictions. We've always complied with this each and every year, and it works out very well, for us.
I move to approve that President Moran sign a transfer of allocation letter to the Department of Housing and Community Development as described and recommended by the Department of Community Services Housing Division.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? So moved. 5-0.
Okay, thank you, Commissioners. Item number 6 is the proposed draft FY 2024 Citizens Budget Mailer. This is a letter that we would be preparing to copy over 20,000 copies and sent out to the citizens, property owners of Queen Anne's County to summarize the FY 24 proposed county commissioners' budget.
Can we get a motion?
I move to approve the fiscal year 2024 Citizens Budget Letter to be mailed to Queen Anne's County citizens. Sorry.
Quite all right. I'll second that.
Second.
Discussion. Chris, did you?
The only thing I would like to see, and I know it's probably too late to put it in a letter, but at least frame it in the budget hearings, is what the per pupil maintenance of effort is compared to the funding. Because I don't think it's spelled out. I think, and nothing against the Board of Ed for asking for the money it had to, obviously it's state mandated, but I think the average person's going to see the board, or the education system asking for $5 million when in the past it's only been roughly $2 million. What are we getting for $5 million? And somewhere it should be outlined to explain it, because I just have a feeling we're going to wind up having to explain it more than we want to. And nowhere have we really put out there why. I know it says in there that it's Kerwin, but it doesn't explain why did we go from only having to put in 1.8 to 2 million to 5 million. It's, to me, it's not descriptive enough, and it's the biggest budget increase in our budget in terms of percentage and all.
So it's something we can,
I think we can work it more into the hearing, because you
Yeah,
typically at the
public
beginning of the
hearings.
hearing you have it, not so much in the letter. You know what I mean?
okay, sure. You don't want to put it in the letter?
I think it's going to be too long drawn out. People aren't going to read the whole thing anyway, but I'm just mentioning it now so we do get it into the hearing as to what the real per
Well,
pupil.
nobody comes to the hearings, that 20,000 letters.
But it's at least on
But it's on
QACTV, it'll be
QACTV channel
recorded.
7. People can go back.
To explain
And it'll be read 3 times, so maybe they'll
We can
get
certainly
lost.
put it in.
I agree,
Okay.
because I'm just, and again, I've seen 3 other counties now frame it in their budget, that this would have been what it would have been if we had adhered to the real student population versus this is what we're doing, and this is how much we're actually over what we were required by the state to do. I just think that's important for people to understand.
I think it's very important. That's why I think it would be better to put it with the letter.
We can simplify it if we want to just talk about the per pupil allocation, what that would have been versus what the
Yeah,
ask
I just
was.
think get it out there so people understand
Sure.
what the
I agree.
difference is.
That's what I'm saying. I think it should go in the letter.
You want them to know that the state is mandating this.
Correct.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Because I just think we're going to get a lot of fallout from people who,
Yeah.
whether they support or don't support the education system, like, why did you give them more than you had to? Well, here's why, because we had to.
And next year, too.
And next year and the year beyond that, correct. Which it did make mention of the next 3 years in there. That
It's a 2-page letter, and you got enough room in that second page maybe to,
He
Yeah,
said
we
he's
got- we
got
got-
some white out. He
Yeah.
can
We got
figure it out.
Okay.
okay.
That's the only change I really saw. in
I can
there.
work on that.
That's a valid point.
So we'll just, you want to,
I'll make the motion to approve it as it is with, and then with,
as amended,
as amended, yeah.
Yeah. so you're going to make a motion, Jack's going to make a
I'm
motion?
going to make a motion to amend it to add the information related to the education funding. And-
Second.
Okay. And now-
Okay, so we vote on the amendment.
Right.
So, no further discussion. All those in favor of the amendment signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? So moved. Now we're going to vote on the bill, or excuse me, the motion,
The original
the original
As
motion, as amended. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? So moved. Okay? There you go.
All right, very good.
Good, Mark?
More work for you.
That's right. No problem.
There you go.
We can cover
Okay.
that. No problem. Thank you, Commissioners.
He's got Jane, and she could give the number. She's right there.
That's right.
Yeah.
Got Nicole, got them both right there. Get it done right now.
Right. Boom.
Okay, Commissioners, our next item, item number 7 on page 41 is Board of Education transfer between major state categories. And this is a list of some transfers that the Board of Ed would like to make between the major state categories as listed. Special education to administration, $100,000. That's to account for additional legal fees and printing costs. Instructional salaries and special education to maintenance to account for 2 maintenance workers and additional repairs that are needed. And transportation, fixed charges, over to transportation, $300,000 there to account for the increase in fuel costs.
Okay.
We're doing one at a
I move to approve budget amendment CC 40, or no, I move to approve the transfers between the major state categories for the administration, major category amount of $100,000, the maintenance major category amount of $320,000, and the transportation major category amount of $300,000.
second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
I'll just say that Jane Towers is here tonight, too, if you have any questions for the Board of Education.
Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved.
All right.
Thanks.
All right, thank you, Commissioners. Okay, item number 8, we got a few budget amendments here. Item number 8 is Budget Amendment CC 42, also for the Board of Education, and this two-part amendment transfers budget authority of $15,000 from Priority Comprehensive Building Assessments to the Kent Island High School Energy Management System. Second part removes budget authority of $205,437 from security upgrades and transfers that to the Bayside Elementary Security Vestibule, the Kent Island High School Security Vestibule, for a total of $205,437.
I move to adopt budget amendment CC 42, Board of Education.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Are we just, the budget authority for the $205,000 for the security upgrades, are we not doing those security upgrades and just transferring over to do these other security upgrades? Is that what that is? Or is that left over from the security upgrades and we're doing some more?
Right, it had been a line item that had been expended.
Jane, you got to come up.
The security upgrade line item was there over a couple of years, so there became a need that we needed to adjust the security vestibule, so we asked to transfer it to those.
But the money that 205 was either all or a portion of some security upgrades that we had voted on in the past. Did they get done or they didn't get done?
I think it was left over from prior years that just kept adding to the
So they
balance.
did get it done, it's just left over and we're gonna transfer it to
That's
do
my
these other ones?
understanding, yes.
Okay,
I think it's like what we did with some of ours.
yeah, right, which is fine, yeah, that's cool. I just want to make sure that the original portion got done. All right, we have a motion and a second on this item,
CC 42.
CC 42, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? So moved, 5-0. Thank you.
Okay, Commissioners, our next budget amendment is item number 9, Budget Amendment CC 44 from the Rural Maryland Economic Development, and this establishes budget authority for the Maryland Rural Economic Development Grant we received in the amount of $1,348,000. That's from
I move to
Shore
adopt
Regional
budget
Council.
amendment CC 44, Rural Maryland Economic Development Grant.
Sweet.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Yeah, I was hoping Heather was still here. I looked out, she had left. I just wanted to get an update. From little I know, I think most of the projects are moving forward. I know the 4-H Park, we just had a meeting with them and their board, and the counties were pitching in on the stormwater management side. So things are rolling. A couple of projects have already been completed. They'll get reimbursed now that we've given them budget authority. So I think, Chris, I think all of them have actually started, correct? If I'm not mistaken. Yeah, so it was 13 projects. The biggest, obviously,
Are they going to
being-
be done by the fair, or?
No, they're actually not even going to, the plan is right now, they're not going to start any of the major renovations until after the fair, because it's just
Too much confusion.
a lot
Yeah,
going
I
on.
get it,
Yeah,
yeah.
so, yep.
All right, well, we're voting on CC 44. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? So moved.
Okay, thank you, Commissioners. Item number 10 on page 44 is Budget Amendment CC 45, Chesapeake Heritage and Visitor Center. And this was a request from the DPW to take the remaining budget authority in the existing Chesapeake Heritage and Visitor Center project and split it into 2 new projects, one for building repairs and one for the site improvements. $105,000 for building repairs and $707,352 for the site improvements. And that's just to split the 2 projects out so they could segregate those projects
Move to adopt
and the
budget
allocations
amendment
for those.
CC 45.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? So is that enough funding, and the 105 is enough to do that job? And is 707 enough to do
57,
it?
right?
There's other-
8 something's what they came at us with, was the total last meeting, I think.
There's other amounts and
Sources.
funding sources in those projects. This is just to split these 2 out, so there's enough for the building repairs and the site improvements. The site improvements are what we're doing now. That'll be
Right.
starting very
But
soon.
it was like 8 something, wasn't it, Tom? I thought it was 800 some thousand what they came.
That was
with the
over, no, it was
contract.
over $1 million. It was over $1 million.
Total was?
Total, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Of the project?
Right, right.
And this is just a portion of the payments?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
correct.
All right, we have a motion to approve CC 45. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved.
All right,
Alrighty.
that is everything in the book. So we have the 2 desk items next. Desk item 1 is a request for a grant support letter from the Friends of Y Mills, Mr. Champ McCulloch. They are seeking a $20,000 grant from the Maryland Historical Trust for various maintenance items and to shore up the erosion around the operating wheel at the old Y Mill in Y Mills.
I move to execute the grant support letter for the old Y Mill.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? So moved.
All right, and lastly, we have a citation for green schools, and this is a tradition that was established back in 1999. Maryland Association of Environmental and Outdoor Recreation requests a citation honoring 3 schools in Queen Anne's County. This year, we have citations for Queen Anne's, the Bayside Elementary, the Kent Island Elementary, and the Centerville Elementary School for their programming as Maryland Green School initiatives. And I believe we have the citations, or Margie has those
I
citations.
move to sign the citations for the green schools.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussions? Bayside's rolling because they got that big award a couple years ago. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? So moved.
Okay. All right, thank you, Commissioners. That is all of the action items for new business this evening. We can move into press and public comments, if you want.
Yes, sir. Anybody sign up? You got a,
Anybody here to speak? Go online?
Press and public comment?
Nobody online?
nothing online? No? Let's see if Margie has anything. Nothing? Ma'am, would you like to speak? Did you come? We're a press and public comment now. If there's anything anyone No? Okay, great. All right, thank you. All right, we'll close press and public comment. Round table. Who wants to go first, 4 or 1?
Who's got nothing?
I got nothing.
4's got nothing.
I just going to say, hopefully the rain holds out for Goodwill's big fundraiser this weekend for the Cash Bash, and
Oh,
hope
yeah,
to see
the
everybody
Cash
there.
Bash.
So,
Forgot about that.
other than that, now it's
Yeah.
all's good.
All right. Patrick, got anything?
I just wanted to say how great of an event I don't want to steal your thunder. That's
No,
your
go ahead,
job.
no.
I'll let you tell it.
Yeah.
It was
all right.
very moving. I would like to know what else they need from us.
Financially, you mean?
Yeah, and land, or they can, housing.
I think they're
Housing, things like that, for veterans.
I got a building for them.
Yeah.
Just down the
It's gonna
street
have some
here.
new, fix the leaky roof and a couple new windows. Yeah, that's right, yeah. Phil, you got anything?
No.
Very good, all right, well then, Chris, Patrick, and myself, went, Saturday to, Libby's, where Walt Petrie, dedicated a Vietnam memorial, the replica of the Vietnam memorial, to 3 fallen members of his unit in Vietnam. We had this, state's attorney, Attorney General there, excuse me, Brown was there, to speak, and it was well done. It was, good to see, and also VAMSA, an acronym for veterans and families. It's always one that slips my mind, but they started up there also with their capital fundraising campaign. They're there to serve veterans and their families, and it looks like it's going to be the first of its kind in the United States. And wishing them the best of luck, and hopefully they'll be able to roll on with that. And like Jack said, Saturday is the Cash Bash for Centerville. So if you have the time, come out and make a visit. And that's all I got. Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Thank you.